Superintendent of Education from the state of South Carolina. They came to the district office last week, Ellen Weaver. And so when we call you up, we want you to come on up. We're going to have a trophy for you. We will have the letter for you framed. And we want to get a bunch of pictures of you. Y'all, SE Ready, if you don't know a whole lot about SE Ready can be a long test. Now, these 4 individuals all did their perfect score on math. So the challenge next year is going to be get some ELA, some reading people up here. But that math is not easy. It's easy to make a little mistake here and there. Sometimes you rush through, or sometimes you just miscalculate something. I've seen that scrap work when students are doing a lot of work, and that paperwork just has numbers all over it. And so for these 4 students to score perfect on that exam really says a lot about them, and we want to certainly get them up here so we can recognize them. So the first person we have from Harleyville Elementary School was William Clark. Didn't make it? All right. William is not with us yet, but when William gets here, we will stop what we're doing to recognize William. William was in 3rd grade last year when he got the perfect score in 4th grade now. At Williams Memorial, we had Rylan Miles. Rylan was in 4th grade last year and 5th grade this year.
All right, Rylan. Girl. Congratulations, Rylan. All right, you got it? You got to stand right there in front of everybody for a little bit, okay? You got it?
Okay, our next student from Williams Memorial, Maxwell Jackson, 5th grade last year at Woodland Middle School now. Awesome.
All right, how do you want to hold it? Let's get a picture. I'm sorry, I gotta stand next to you.
And then our 3rd person here tonight is from last year St. George Middle School, 7th grade, now at Woodland Middle School, John Donato.
Good job, John. All right, you got it?
How about a round of applause for these 2? Mr. Lakin, yeah, you're going to say, get a picture.
You guys grab your trophies, and you want to stand behind the board here. You want to walk around and stand behind them. If y'all could just put them in between like the windows right there. There you go. Not those ones. There you go. All right. All right, everybody ready here. 1, 2, 3.
Mr. Lakin, can we have all the teachers from those schools and principals come on up here? What's that? Oh, wait. Oh, man.
Math teacher. First grade teacher, first grade teacher.
Kenny, go on the other side.
Come over here by me. I won't fight, I promise.
Wonderful job, boys and girls. Like I said, not an easy thing to do. There are not that many students who achieve that across the state, and to do that last year was really incredible. No pressure. We do expect it again. And so what we're going to do next board meeting is we are going to recognize all of our students who received a 100 on their EOCs last year. That was for Algebra 1, English 2, Biology, and U.S. History. And we had about 19 or 20 students who qualified for that. So just of our time-wise and how many plaques and trophies I get in my car, we did one group at a time. But boys and girls, wonderful job. Very proud of you. And I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Sanders.
Tonight, we're going to honor some of our everyday heroes. Dorchester School District 4 is delighted to continue its Everyday Hero Employee Recognition Program, celebrating the exceptional individuals who play a crucial role in the success of our schools. These hardworking employees often operate behind the scenes, ensuring the smooth functioning of our schools while contributing to the education and well-being of our students. Monthly, we shine a spotlight on these dedicated staff members, offering our appreciation for their unwavering commitment. Each everyday hero receives a certificate of appreciation and a distinguished coin from the superintendent, as well as a token of the district's deep gratitude for their remarkable service. Our very first for tonight, everyday hero for September, is Miss Eleanor Washington, a dedicated custodian at Williams Memorial Elementary School. Come on up, Miss Eleanor. Custodians like Miss Washington play a crucial role in maintaining a clean and safe environment for students and staff. Her tireless work ensures that classrooms and common areas are spotless and ready for learning. Principal Ruth Mims praised Miss Washington for her dedication, stating, "Miss L always has a smile, works tirelessly, and never complains. Her positive attitude and commitment make her a true everyday hero." Congratulations, Miss Washington. Miss Mims, if you can come. Miss Mims and the crew back there, come on, get on in it, come on.
Want to get a picture before the wild one.
Here we come. Yeah. When you love what you do, you have joy all the
Miss
time.
Mims, y'all want to go behind the board?
You got joy. Oh, we going behind the board again.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations again, Miss Washington. The second everyday hero for September is Ms. Margarita Baptista, a dedicated multilingual program teacher in the Student Services Department. Ms. Baptista goes above and beyond to support multilingual learners, helping them develop English proficiency while mastering other subjects. From kindergarten through high school, she collaborates with teachers to ensure each student reaches their full potential. Despite a busy schedule, and she does have a busy schedule, Ms. Baptista remains committed and joyful in her work. Nominated by Dr. Nancy Britt Stevens, she is a shining example of dedication in Dorchester District 4. Ms. Baptista, come on up. Student Services, come on up.
Your crew.
Okay, right here. 3, 2, 1.
Congratulations, Ms. Baptista.
is cool.
Oh wait,
All
she
of
has a,
them.
she said all of y'all are part of her crew, so everybody give her a round of applause for Miss Atkinson. She really is okay. Last but surely not least, we have Miss Amber Jennings, a STEM teacher at both Harleyville and Clay Hill Elementary School. As the director of the 21st Century Program and recipient of the Bosch Best Teacher Grant, she fosters excitement for STEM education through hands-on learning. After teaching in Dubai, Ms. Jennings returned to Dorchester School District 4, bringing valuable global experience. Her dedication to students and collaboration with colleagues exemplify the spirit of everyday hero. We are so proud to honor her for her impact on students and her commitment to excellence. Ms. Amber Jennings, come on up. Harleyville and Clay Hill, come on up.
All right, yeah, get your group up, you go out behind.
Ms. Huggins, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, Ms. Jennings.
Great job, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Beckwith, and all of our staff members and teachers and these students. We're so proud of all 4 of you, and also our everyday heroes. And this makes it fun at a school board meeting to be able to do this. So I appreciate Mr. Beckwith and Dr. Saunders thinking that up, because it needed to be done. Thank you all. Now, this week is considered National Adult Education and Family Literacy Week, and I have the honor to read this proclamation on behalf of Dorchester School District 4 and Superintendent Jeffrey Beckwith. It's an honorary proclamation. Whereas more than 43 million Americans cannot read or write at the most basic level, while 62.7 million lack basic math skills, as well as the credentials and skills necessary to succeed in post-secondary education. Whereas every year, 1 in 3 young adults drop out of high school. Whereas adult education programs contribute to solving these challenges by helping Americans move along the continent in their educational journey to achieve basic skills and get prepared for career and college. Whereas in 2023-2024, Dorchester County Adult Education served 472 adult learners, 58 earned a high school equivalency diploma, GED, 15 earned a high school diploma, 72 English language learners completed skills upgrades and are graduating with a high school credential. 4 met their family literacy goals, 22 met their workplace literacy goals, 46 obtained a workplace credential, and 500 digital literacy lessons were taught. Whereas Dorchester School District 4 celebrates Adult Education and Family Literacy Week as a proud participant in the National Educate and Elevate campaign, which helps our citizens learn about all of their adult education options to attain their professional and personal goals. Therefore, we, Dorchester School District 4, proclaim September 16th through the 20th, 2024 as Adult Education Family Literacy Week in Dorchester County, South Carolina, and encourage all Dorchester County citizens to work together to promote adult education and increase literacy among our residents. Given the 17th day of September 2024, signed by Jeffrey Beckwith, Superintendent, and Phyllis Hughes, Board Chair. Is Ms. Rivers or anyone from the Adult Ed please come forward. There's Ms. Roots. I couldn't see her.
Hey, y'all, how you doing?
Thanks, y'all, very much. Good to see you.
Thank you, ladies, for coming tonight. And if you've never been to an adult graduation, adult education graduation, it is quite moving to see what really goes on there, because we have so many people from other countries, and they literally get a high school education, and I don't know how they do it, not being able to speak the language, but it's a very rewarding graduation. So thank you again, Ms. Rivers, and all of your staff. Next up is Mr. Mark, Facilities.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Awesome turnout, and then when I was getting ready to come up, I noticed people leaving, so I don't know if that's good or bad. Yeah. Here's a operations overview for August and September. A lot of things we have to do over the next couple months for the state. One of them is we had to do an interim safety grant report to make sure we're staying in compliance with our funding requirements. We did receive our new emergency radios, which was part of that grant, and we had them programmed by Dorchester County. And once we get our BDAs installed, that'll be an awesome package to enhance our communication abilities for any type of emergencies. Part of that grant, we are ongoing with access controls and security enhancements. So I've been working closely with technology, and Elijah's been getting security cameras and access controls replaced that he had already on a list ready to go. And as part of our capital projects, our BDAs will be installed when we do above ceiling work. So we're looking at upgrading PA systems, fire alarm systems, and that works in conjunction with above ceiling, so we can do all that at one time. We had to do our Model Safe Schools report. That has a September 1st deadline, and that's already been submitted. Our RFID system at Woodland is complete. We needed some additional RFID cards, which we ordered. They arrived, those are being installed, so looking forward to that extra safety measure for our bus lot and also for convenience for our drivers. Our state energy report was due, and we submitted that this month ahead of schedule, and that reflects our ongoing efforts to improve on energy efficiency in our facilities. They opened up the 2024-25 state school safety grant, and we requested this year $848,000, and that will include the implementation of security window film for glass doors and the sight glass in classroom windows. Also, storeroom function classroom locks and secured entry points to enhance our access control. If you remember last year, we received $506,000, which was our full allotment of our 100% ask, which was great. So this year we're requesting $848,000, so fingers crossed on that. An asset management update, we received our comprehensive condition assessment list of over 850 assets. This came in perfect timing with some capital funding that we may be getting from the state. This will replace the remaining HVAC equipment that is listed as poor condition, which we don't have very much left, which is phenomenal for our district, because that could be a sponge when it comes to funding. We'll also be able to upgrade food service equipment, exhaust fans, water heaters, anything else of a significant size we can do at this time. And this information will help us strategically plan to spend our money wisely and prioritize our equipment. We are working with several contractors and vendors right now, developing scopes of work for capital projects so we can build a budget out for that. Woodland Middle School update, we're continually working with MBCon and subcontractors on punch list items. And I have to give Principal Kennedy kudos. He's doing a phenomenal job with keeping in contact and top of these issues and keeping that line of communication open and staying on top of that. We still have a couple items left for owner training and a technology update. Technology is in the process of setting up 220 new laptops, monitors, and docking stations for teachers. They're also setting up 15 all-in-one desktops for Project Lead the Way at Woodland High School. I've also included some work planning and project updates, some capital projects and assessments that we're currently working on. And in the summary in the back, the FMX work order dashboard, you can see the requests by buildings, just showing which buildings require more work orders. Any questions?
Any questions, board members? I just have one thing, it's not a question, number 6, that you're putting in for the 848,000. Could you please tell the audience what the window film is for?
Window film is not bullet resistant, but it's impact resistant. So let's say you have a classroom door, and let's just say worst case scenario, there would be an active shooter event. To get in that classroom, a bullet will penetrate the film, but you cannot bust through it to reach in to, say, open a door or bust through it to get through that glass door. So if you hear bullet resistant, it's not bullet resistant, it's impact resistant, which is a big difference. But in any type of event like that, we're trying to buy time. And anything we could detour buys us time. And I've been to demonstrations with that security film. And like everything else, there's different levels of that film. The thicker it is, tends to be more better it is. So that's one of the initiatives I put in for, because like if you enter into a classroom door, a lot of our doors have those sight glass. So if you secure that glass, you could take something and beat on it, and you can't bust through it to reach through it. So that's what that is.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Anytime.
Appreciate
Appreciate
that.
you.
I thought our parents and staff would appreciate knowing that that would be in our schools to protect everyone. Thank you.
And
so much.
anytime we complete security enhancements, we'll come forward to the board to make it public knowledge.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So I said, we're gonna stop everything if William shows up, and William Clark is here, so please.
So what grade is this?
William was in 3rd grade last year going into 4th grade,
Great job.
right?
Come sit. I won't let
Anybody from that school? Is it Rob Hill? Anybody else from Rob Hill? From last year?
Miss Lennon?
All right, now we gotta.
Thank you, Mr. Baker.
Thank you.
Very fitting. Makes you proud as if he was your own son. Next up, finance.
Good evening. You have your board report, the standard, if you have any questions.
Board members, in your packet is your board report, your finance report. Do you have any questions? Anybody?
Just a little update from finance. First, we processed that stipend that you guys approved, and we certainly do appreciate that. We're working on the audit. The auditors will be in the building the weeks of October 21st and 28th. Uh-oh.
There you go.
Okay. Short people problems.
I'm sorry. There you go.
I put on heels. I tried to be a little bit tall. So the auditors will be in the building October 21st and 28th, those 2 weeks. And I think Ms. Smoke gave you guys the paperwork for the SCAGO bond. I'll FedEx that back to our bond counsel and financial advisors, and we'll get that processed. I think it's supposed to sell on Friday, the 26th.
Okay. Yeah, she already has that signed.
Okay, perfect. Any questions?
No
That's it?
questions?
Nope. Okay, thank you.
Next up, human resources.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
Tonight, I will bring forth the second and final reading of several policies. First, we will start with policy BCB, board member conflict of interest. The first 2 paragraphs were added, as well as the paragraph regarding services, products, the section on nepotism, and the section on employment and volunteering being prohibited. There are also legal references updated. Next, we have policy BD-R, organization of the board. There was added language regarding the election process for board officers, including nomination and the voting procedure. They removed language and vacancies that will be filled in accordance with policy BBBE, as that policy only refers to filling the board seats themselves, not board officers. The board may fill officer vacancies at its own discretion. Note various options throughout the policy. The rule lists that the duties of the board officers, which was previously found in policy BDB. So at this time, if we can please turn to policy BD. I will read policy BD, or a section of policy BD, based on current practices. However, the floor will be open at the end for discussion. The officers of the board are chair, vice chair, and secretary. The officers are elected and sworn in annually at the board's organizational meeting on the first meeting in November. Each officer will serve for 1-year term. Officers can serve unlimited consecutive terms, or we can change the wording to make it say the duration of service time will be at the pleasure of the board. The superintendent will serve as the presiding officer for purposes of electing officers. Officers will be elected by a majority vote of the board. Voting will be conducted by voice vote. Once the chair is elected, he or she will assume the role of the presiding officer. Is there any discussion on policy BD?
Look on the second paragraph, and there's 2 choices. Would you read those 2 choices one more time?
Voting will be conducted by voice vote or secret ballot. And then the second paragraph up there says that each officer will serve for a 1-year term. Officers can serve unlimited consecutive terms, or we can change the wording to something to reflect duration of service time will be at the pleasure of the board.
As it is right now, it's, you know, we do our nominations each year after the first board meeting in November. So, how do y'all want that to read? This is our second reading, and we'll go into policy tonight.
So to make it clear, you're simply saying that, so we've been doing it anyway, like in offices annually.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and there's a clause that whether or not there's going to be a limit to the number of years that, that a person can, serve in that capacity.
Yes, sir, but we can keep doing what we're doing now, which is there's an unlimited term.
Do you want to keep it the same? Keep it the same?
Yes.
You do? Dr. Jenkins?
Yep.
Yes.
Keep it the same, keep it the same.
Okay, sounds good. And the last policy for the second and final reading is policy BID, board member compensation and expenses. In summary, our board members currently receive $200 a month, and it should go to $300 per month as our current policy states. And that concludes our second and final reading, those three policies.
So board members, it's three policy, well, actually, 2, 3, 4, because DD-R is also. So what we will need, this is our second and final reading. Then we'll go into policy after the second reading. So, we're good with this. We'll go ahead and make a motion to approve these policies.
I so move.
So moved. And second. Motion has been made by Ms. Enfinger, seconded by Dr. Hodges. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye or raise your right hand. Any opposed? It is unanimous.
Thank you.
Those are approved.
All right, our next set are for the first reading. We have policy BDB, board officers. SCASBA recommends deletion as this information has been moved to policy BD-R. Next, we have policy BDD, the board superintendent relationship. Minor editorial revisions and updates were made as it relates to the responsibilities of the board and superintendent. Next, we have policy BDE, board committees. It was updated to include special committees and compliances with SC FOIA. There are also legal references updated. Policy BDF and BDF-R, advisory committees and school improvement councils. It was revised to provide a more generalized statement regarding advisory committees that the district may establish. The rule includes updates and expands upon information regarding school improvement councils. Again, legal references were updated. And then we have two about testing or assessments. Policy ILB and ILB-R. And if you were to go to those policies, you would notice that in ILB-R, it basically just talks about the readiness assessment program, which we currently do in our elementary schools, which is KRA and my IGDIs. I think we've been doing those since 2017. And then it also talks about reading screeners that beginning in the 2025-2026 school year, that kindergarten through fifth graders will all participate in the reading screeners. Next, we have policy ILBB and ILBBR. Again, if you were to go and look at that, the only major change that will really impact us is it speaks of SC Pass, and we no longer take SC Pass, we take SC Ready. And I did talk to Ms. Bowman, our Director of Assessment and Accountability, and I think she's good to go with these changes as well. Are there any questions?
Any questions, board members? This is our first reading, so we'll take these and, look over these real good, and next month we'll bring them back. If you see anything that you feel that you have a question about, you can always reach out to the superintendent. Yes, sir?
One question, and that, as we go back to BDF, Advisory Committee, School Improvement Council, do all schools still have school improvement council?
Yes, sir, and I believe it was published recently with all the dates of their upcoming meetings. Yes, sir. They meet
What about
once a month.
PTAs, PTOs, because I don't hear very much about.
PTAs and PTOs are at the discretion of the schools, so some schools have them and some do not.
Do all of our schools have them?
Not all of them. I think we might have a few that do not have PTAs, but I know that they're all working towards it, from my understanding. But they definitely all have school improvement councils.
Madam Chair, it'd be nice to know if the schools do have them, you know, PTOs or PTAs, so we would be familiar, and know a bit more about what they're doing.
Sure.
We can get, you or Ms. Smoke can just send it out to the board. It will, just which schools do have it.
Okay.
I did see it in the paper about school improvement.
Right, not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is curriculum. Ms. Sylvia Wright.
Okay, so personal finance is now a graduation requirement that will be phased in each year. The state has finally funded the instructional materials. The list of state-funded instructional materials are included in your packet. So we need a board vote to approve the adoption of state-funded instructional materials for Accounting 1, Advanced Personal Finance, and Personal Finance.
In your board packet, board members, all three are outlined in there. It is an action item. We will need a vote to approve these. We do have a motion made by Ms. Infinger, seconded by Dr. Hodges. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand.
Thank you.
Up next is our superintendent report.
Thank you very much. First thing we have to do, it's that time of the year where we have to select the SCASBA Delegates Assembly. One person to attend and then an alternate just in case. And that'll have to be an action item for the board.
Okay.
One delegate and then one alternate.
Yes, board members, we do need a delegate chosen for I was trying to find out if this was at the annual conference, but I know y'all are familiar with this. And so we do need to choose a delegate for our annual conference and also an alternate.
December 2nd.
It's December, that is wrong, it's okay.
Make a motion, we nominate Ms. Henfinger as a delegate.
Sure.
An alternate?
And for the alternate, I'd like to nominate Mr. Hodges. Jim Hodges. For an alternate.
All right, are there any other nominations from the floor? All right, we will need to vote on this. Ms. Infinger has been chosen as our delegate, and Dr. Hodges has been chosen as the alternate. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Ms. Smoke, I'll get this signed for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Just some information for the board. Ms. Hughes and I were looking at school impact fees, the possibility of school impact fees, because of the growth that we are expecting up in this area. To do that, we had to submit a resolution to county council. They received it, they looked at it, and they voted unanimously to approve the next step of the school impact fee process, which is doing a study to determine what that school fee will look like, that impact fee will look like, the cost per new dwelling, apartments, those types of things. So that's for new developers coming in, that we can somehow have some kind of benefit from these new homes coming to us. So we're just waiting on next steps now. I will tell you, there will be a fee with that. If, once it's all said and done, to do that study will be a fee to the district. Once we have that exact amount, we'll bring it to the board, so you're aware and we can move forward accordingly. But we're excited that we're moving forward in the right direction with that. Tele services update, y'all voted to allow us to move forward with this. I will say, up to this point, it's been a pretty positive thing. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we had a 100% fill rate. This past week, we were sitting pretty close to 90% of our vacancies for subs were filled. And for the year, we're sitting at right about 88, 89% of any vacancies from people being out being filled. And last year we had 17 subs that were working across the district. We are now up to 52 subs, which is great. And our principals have been pretty positive about it. If you feel differently, tell me after the meeting. But it's nice to have people in the building covering classes. We don't have as many teachers within the building having to cover classes. Just much more productive for our students and for our schools. So appreciate y'all voting for that last year. The last thing I have for you is just a grants update. Really exciting news for us. We were just waiting on a little bit of communication from the State Department, but we're pretty active working on this right now, so want to let you all know. A few months ago, beginning of the summer, we applied for a grant with the State Department for capital projects, and we went really high, unrealistically high, possibly. They came back and said bring it down a little bit. So we brought it down a little bit, but we were approved for $16 million for capital projects across the district. So that money is starting to come into the district as we speak. Mr. Martin is working on a lot of projects. We have some help coming his way to help with those projects. It has to be targeting instructional programs, facilities that have instructional programs in it. So when we look at St. George Middle School and that vacant building, somewhat vacant building, we can't really just push a whole lot of money into that. But what it does do is allows us to free up some of our other capital project money for projects that we might use for St. George Middle School. But we do plan on having a list of projects for you at possibly the next meeting, depending on where we are. Mr. Martin's been meeting with people every day, all day, and we have some projects that are going to really start beginning around fall break, that October break. We plan on a number of projects beginning. But it's $16 million, and it will go towards a little bit of everything. Some traffic pattern stuff, some landscaping, some demolition, some roofing, some windows, some doors. I mean, you pretty much name it. Playgrounds. If you've been to our elementary schools, our playgrounds are in need of some upgrades. So we're working on that. That was a work in progress already, but just really excited at the opportunity. Appreciate Ellen Weaver looking out for us and Virgie Chambers looking out for us, and they've been easy to work with and been great to work with. So that $16 million is money that is coming to the district that was not expected a little while back, so thrilled about that. In addition to that, Mr. Martin was talking about the $500,000 grant he got for safety this past year. He put in for that $800 and something thousand for the current year. Excited about that. We have a few other ones. We have a Stronger Connections grant that we received last month or 2 months ago that focuses a little bit more on social emotional health. That was about $310,000. Things are in the works with that. We currently have an instruction grant that is out there that we applied for. It was a pretty quick turnaround. We haven't heard anything yet, but that was $400,000. And then Dr. Stevens, I think in her department, pushed out a grant for McKinney-Vento, correct? Which focuses on our students who are considered homeless students and being able to provide different resources for those students, whether it's clothing, cosmetics, anything really to support those students and families. So waiting to hear on that, but You know, as of right now, we've brought in almost $17 million in this past 6 months, which is exciting. And then we're currently waiting on $1.3 million. And hopefully we get some approval on those here shortly. So everybody's working extremely hard to find as much money that's out there so we can put it back into our programs and turn it around and make sure it's supporting our students in our buildings. So excited about that. Any questions about any of that?
Any questions, comments, anything?
Money is good, y'all. Money is good. And that is it from me.
Thank you, Mr. Beckley. Grants are very hard. If you've ever tried to do a grant, they are very time consuming and very hard to do. And then once, if you do get the grant, it's even harder then to keep up with it. It's a financial thing, earmarked, you have to be so careful. I'm very proud of our staff members, Mr. Martin, Elijah, technology, what y'all are doing, because you have to remember, in DD4, we have one brand new school, we have one that's about 21 years old, and all the other buildings are about 60+ years old. So putting technology in old buildings and upgrading what y'all are doing, Mr. Beckwith, Mr. Martin, and all of your staff is amazing. And to bring this money in is amazing, because in the past, we were hurt because they always lumped us in the DD2. So this year, Ms. Weaver took us out of DD2, standalone, and here we are. So thank you all for all very hard work that y'all have done to get us this far. And you're exactly right. This type of money will be spent where our students will benefit, which is what it should be. So thank you. Any other questions or comments, board members? At this time, we will take a motion to go in executive session. And tonight in executive session, we have a legal matter. We also have a personnel report. So this ends the first part of our meeting, but we welcome you to stay around if you'd like when we come out, because any action taken, we will vote in open session. So at this time, I will take a motion to go in executive session. Ms. Enfinger and Dr. Hodges. Motion has been made by Ms. Enfinger, seconded by Dr. Hodges, to go in executive session. All in favor? Aye. Raise your hand. Okay. All right. We are in executive session.